Hey everyone, I'm just waiting for some more people to join us and we'll get started. Angry Cat, I'll disclose that pretty soon. I'm going to see if anyone could guess where I'm at. While I'm walking around here, I'll try my best to respond to your comments. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. We're going to do a tour of this location. I was here approximately a year and a half ago. And we're just going to do a little revisit to see how much has changed since then. Give you guys a quick look. There's a lot of grounds here, but we're going to start up in this area here. Thank you, SCP. I appreciate that. Is anyone able to guess where I'm at? I will tell you, I am in Pennsylvania. I am near Scranton. And this is a pretty well-known, popular spot for not only urban explorers like myself, but also for paranormal investigators. So if that's a tip, it might give you the answer you're looking for. Hello, Catherine. Thanks for joining us. All right, I'm going to give a little walk around here. See if you guys can maybe depict where I'm at. It's like we're losing people really quick. I don't know. This might be a short live stream. No, it's not a mining place. I was trying to get clues to see if anyone could guess where it's at. I'll disclose the location shortly. I did state I did do a video on this location approximately a year and a half ago, which is on my channel. But we're just doing a quick revisit to see what's changed since then. As you can see, this is not a very safe structure. A lot of holes in the floors, you'll see. That was the other part of the building here. I'm sure at one point it was a very beautiful place. As you can see, you could pretty much go right into the basement if you don't take a safe step here. It shows we got 3 viewers. I don't know who's here. Just start out with about 6 or 7. Hopefully a few more will join us. If I do fall through the floor, then Catherine will be the first one to witness it. But hopefully it doesn't happen. But you can see it's pretty bad here. Alright, there is a really nice fireplace here, though I do want to show you. Hopefully I can step over here. You can see there. Alright guys, if you don't know where I'm at the West Mountain Sanitarium. This was a tuberculosis hospital for children and adults. And what we're standing in right now is the superintendent's office. Or also the living quarters for the superintendent also. Or what's left of it. The hospital itself, there's not a whole lot of remains left to it. But we will get down and show what is left. As you can see, there's holes everywhere. I do have some information about it. I'll read off to you as we're walking around. As I said, it's not a very safe structure, but it's still pretty cool to see. There's a hole right there, among many. It does have these nice cutout windows here. And this is a very isolated area, which I can understand why they built this place here, because up until recently, you know, the last decade or two, there hasn't been any homes around here. You can see I probably had a nice view out into the distance here. This is looking towards Scranton, Pennsylvania right now. Yeah, actually, I've been saying that for a few years now. I don't think it's going to last much longer, but surprisingly, it's still here. There were multiple fires here, mostly back in the 90s, which burned probably 90% of the structures here. So unfortunately, not a whole lot is left, but it's still a pretty neat place. Just to let you guys know, like I said, it was a tuberculosis hospital for children and adults. It opened in 1903. So this has been here for a long time. I couldn't find the official date, but records show it did close sometime in the 1970s. Looks like early 70s. And at its peak, it housed over 100 patients here. And that includes children and adults. This floor is very wet and saturated, so I'm just taking my time here. You can see there's a huge hole that goes right into the basement. And there's the roof that's exposed. There's still outlets here, those fairly modern ones. Well, this place is, like I said, this is just the superintendent's office. The main hospital is down a little bit lower. Not much remains of it, but there's several acres here of land. Now, if you could imagine, back in the 1900s, early 1900s, there wasn't a whole lot of treatments available for tuberculosis. So they kind of did some experimenting with patients to learn how to treat it properly. And one of the ways that they did treat it was by airing their lungs out, so to speak. And what that involved was basically patients sitting out in screened in or fenced in porches to air their lungs out, and that includes during the freezing time. We're in northeast Pennsylvania. In the wintertime, it gets down to 0 sometimes, if not colder. And patients were forced to sit outside to air their lungs out as part of treatment. So it doesn't sound very pleasant if you were staying here. This was another offset window, which was across, identical to the other side, but this wall is fallen out here. So this is like a replica of the other side that I showed. As you can see, it's not very safe. I get over here, I'll show a straight across shot. Straight across there is where the other window is that we were just over there. So this is a fairly large structure. Like I said, it was the superintendent's office and living quarters. I'm not sure if there's an upstairs to it or not, but there are multiple rooms down here, probably for offices and for visitors and living quarters, so on and so forth. So we're going to head down towards the main hospital part now. Do want to show real quick, there was some, you see the artwork on the wall here. Now, a few other facts about this place. There's at one point when it was open, it had a playground for children. It had its own farm where they grew, obviously, vegetables, probably for part of their meals and also to keep the patients busy. And it also has a natural spring artesian well, which is actually still here, and we'll be showing that in a little bit. I believe that was used probably for bathing or some sort of treatment. But here's one last look at the living quarters of the superintendent's office. I do want to show the front part here, which is all gone now, but just to show how the rest of the structure would have looked or how big it was. It came out as far as this concrete wall here that you can see, and extended out fairly far as compared to what you see now. The front portion of this is all collapsed. But there's the remnants of the chimney up there for the fireplace. Now we'll give a quick look. This is into the basement. Yep, Jeff, West Mountain Sanitarium. Can't really get very far just because it's all collapsed here. This is the basement portion of it, of the superintendent's office. And let me see if I get a good shot. Let me stick it up here. There's the fireplace up there. There's looks like probably a fuse box or electrical box here. So this was a pretty big house, considering that a quarter of it's already demolished or collapsed. Yeah, Jeff, I was here myself approximately a year and a half ago. I did a full video on it with the back history like I always do, but I wanted to revisit this place and see how it currently looks. Every time I come, it's always more decay, more graffiti, more vandalism, and less structures to see. But surprisingly, the superintendent's office is still holding up. So we're going to head down towards the hospital part now. As I did mention, if anyone's just joining me, this is West Mountain Sanitarium in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Opened in 1903, closed in 1970s. It operated as a tuberculosis hospital for children and adults. I did see another vehicle parked along the road, so we might come across some individuals here, but so far it's pretty quiet. No, I haven't done the drone video here just because so much of it is covered by trees and foliage. There's not a whole lot visible. If I do decide to do that, I may do it in the wintertime when all the leaves are gone for the winter. Coming up here on the right, there's a little structure here. I believe this was like a maintenance garage for the maintenance department. This seems to be a popular spot for graffiti artists, as you'll see. There's also tracks on the ground. People have been riding quads in here, and there's a really bad echo, so I apologize. I'll keep talking to a minimal. I apologize, it is saying bad connection. I'm in a heavily wooded area here, so I apologize if it's coming in and out. Now here is a giant smokestack, which was, I believe, was for the incinerator, or furnace possibly for the hospital. Now, there was a structure attached to this at one point. It's obviously gone. There's a giant tank down here in the bottom. Yeah, I've only done a few live streams so far, and surprisingly they've went fairly well with connection wise, but this area, as you can see, it's almost like a jungle here, so it's probably going to be difficult at times to get a good connection, but we'll try our best. I also mentioned before, if anyone is just joining me, this tuberculosis hospital held over 100 patients at its peak. Wait for this one to stop a second. As part of their treatment, patients were told to air their lungs out, and that involves sitting outside in fenced-in porches at all times of the year, including the winter time, to air their lungs out. Because back in the early 1900s, they didn't have very many successful treatment options available. So, okay, right here, looking at part of the hospital. Not a whole lot remains of it, but there is a basement to it, which is pretty neat. We're going to get into that. Like I said, this did have a playground at one point, and a farm, and a natural spring artesian well. If I'm not mistaken, this was a multi-level hospital. I believe it was 2 or 3 stories tall. If you do a Google search for West Mountain Sanitarium, there are some photos on there showing how it looked when it was opened. Sometime during the 1990s, several of these structures were lit on fire, obviously from vandals or arson, and this is unfortunately all that's left of it after that. You can see that goes down to the basement there. Now, one thing many people may not know is there have been several paranormal groups here doing investigations. This place is reported to be haunted, and on YouTube there are some videos of certain groups from the area who have done investigations here at night, and I watched 1 or 2 of them, and it seemed pretty interesting. They did get some results with noises and voices and stuff like that, so if you're into that sort of thing, you can always check it out. We're going to circle around here and get to the other side and head into the basement. Now back here, this area here was where the farm was. It's where they grew, you know, any crops that they had, but this was the farming area back here. Hey Journey Jay, what's up? I'm at West Mountain Sanitarium in Scranton. I filmed here about a year and a half ago, and this is a revisit to see what's changed. This place was built in 1903, closed in the 1970s. It was a tuberculosis hospital for children and adults. It had a playground, a farm, an artesian well, and at the beginning of this video I showed the superintendent's office, and this is the hospital quarters down here. There were several wings of it that spread out, and you can imagine around the whole perimeter of it was a fenced-in porch where patients were told to sit outside to air their lungs out as part of their treatment. And where I'm standing right now, I'm on concrete, but the whole walls and roof is gone. So certain areas of it is completely destroyed. Some of it's still remaining, but not a whole lot. It's hard to see right now, just during the summer months. All the foliage is growing in, so a lot of it is hidden, but if you were to come in the fall or winter time, you could see a lot more of it here. Now we're on what is called the entrance or driveway, which connects to West Mountain Road. It comes up this way, but down here is where the natural spring artesian well is. We're going to show that when we're heading out that way. So let's get up here by the hospital. Okay, now this is one of the porches I was telling you about. This had a fenced-in enclosure around it so that patients couldn't leave, but they were able to come out on the porch here to get fresh air and air their lungs out as part of their treatment for tuberculosis. So even though it does look like a nice peaceful spot, you're pretty much trapped like an animal here. Patients basically got wheeled out here, strapped to wheelchairs by the nurses or whoever, and were basically forced to sit out here for hours at a time. You can see there's an old outlet there. Alright, I do apologize about that. I lost connection. Hopefully you guys will join me again. We're going to head to the basement now of one of the wings of the hospital. Again, I do apologize. I'm in a very heavily wooded area. I only have about 2 or 3 bars here on my service, so there's some stairs. I was here for my first time back in the early 2000s. I want to say around 2007, 2008 maybe. And a lot more was intact then, even though it burned in the 90s. There was still a lot more intact. But when we were here, there was some leftover hospital beds, wheelchairs, documentation, and the superintendent's house was much more intact. That didn't suffer from fire. That's just from water damage and everything. This is a shame. This was a fully intact basement last time I was here, and the floor collapsed right down into it. Yeah, this didn't look like this when I was here for my last video. It was all dark and... Guys, I'm sorry about that. I'm going to stay out of the building just because it's just not getting any reception in there. As you can see... Alright guys, I'm going to stay out of the buildings. I'm just not getting good reception here. I apologize. This is part of the hospital here. You can see there's a... looks like a commode or something up there, a urinal. Up on top of here, when I was here in the early 2000s, there was lockers up here for the employees, which have been removed. So I'm guessing somewhere up here was the area for the workers or the nurses. Down here in this basement, which I can't go into right now, but this is where I found several hospital beds. They're all metal and rusty, and wheelchairs, filing cabinets full of files, and unfortunately it's all been gone, all been removed since then. But if you ever do want to see what it looked like when I was here a year and a half ago, just go to JPVideos and search West Mountain Sanitarium on my page, or just search it on YouTube. I'm usually one of the first videos to pop up, and I do a complete walkthrough of this place without any interruptions of service. So again, I apologize. Where we're walking right now is part of the facility here. It's all rubble now. This is the main part that burned, and it goes over to another part of the basement over here. It is a neat place to explore if you're into this sort of thing, but again, just take caution that there are several areas that are weak and tricky to walk in. So just take your time and be careful. When I was here last time, I was able to walk through here. I did walk around the floor here that's collapsed. There's someone's bag here. Looks like someone's been staying here, and I'll show you really quick. As to why someone would want to stay here, I have no idea. Richie, I'm not at Powder Mills, I'm at West Mountain Sanitarium. I'm losing people. Hopefully you guys can stick around. I'm going to show you guys the artesian well right now. This is the entryway from when you would come in from West Mountain Road. Looks like it would circle around here. Rich, yeah, I just mentioned that a little while ago that there have been some paranormal investigators here doing some ghost hunting, and my understanding is that they have captured some voices and noises from unexplainable areas or objects. Okay, if I do cut out here, I do apologize. There's a lot of tree cover here. What the hell was that? Something just ran across the road. Something just ran across. I don't know if it was a person or an animal. Hello? I don't know what that was. Kind of spooked me a little bit. This is what I want to show you guys. This is the natural spring artesian well. See if we get a closer look of it. This is all filled in with debris and everything, but this is natural spring water coming up from underground. So there's a constant circulation or constant flow of fresh water coming in. It's very, very clean and clear, as you can see, except for the trash that's put inside of it. So this was used by patients for, I don't know if it's for treatment or just for recreation, but this does go approximately, I believe, 8 to 10 feet deep. And around the outer edges there are like seats you could sit on. It is a pretty neat thing that's still here from the early 1900s. get a better view over here. As you can see, the wall is eroded away there, so the water is trickling off. So like I said, it's a constant flow of water coming into this. Alright, let's head back. Alright, those of you who joined me late, I'm going to head back from where I began this video, which is the superintendent's office. It's the most intact structure here, so I'll give you guys one more view of that, and then we're going to wrap it up. I don't know if I'm here with somebody or not, but when I was walking this way, something ran right across, and there was a fairly large object. It did startle me a little bit. This is the old entranceway. It connects down to West Mountain Road. Okay, we're going to head back up past the hospital, and we'll go back to the superintendent's office, or the home. Look at this tree here. It's like something you'd see on a horror movie. Now, the only thing I do recommend is if you do come, just to not make a lot of noise. Don't cause any distractions, because a few hundred yards over this way, there is a home there that was built in the last couple of years. So I'm pretty sure they'd probably call the police if they hear any sort of, you know, loud noises going on. Because if you come in the winter time or the fall, this is all visible. You can't see much of it now, but there's still a little bit here to see. This was it's hard to explain. It wasn't set up as an ordinary hospital. You could try to imagine it was spread out in different directions, almost like almost like maybe the letter H or L, but it's spread out in different areas, so it wasn't like a rectangle building that was just straight up. It did have different wings of it. So there is the smokestack for the incinerator. And one thing I did find peculiar, I can't pronounce the word. I'll just say interesting, sorry about that. Stumble on my words, is that this electrical box is fairly modern. You can see the wires have been cut, obviously, but this is actually still operating. It's warm and there's a hum to it. Maybe you can hear it. So that is a little bit strange that that's here and still has power running through it. That is the maintenance garage there. As I shown before, it's just full of graffiti. It's an empty room. A little more open here too, so hopefully the connection's a little bit stronger. And if you're curious, I am filming this on my Galaxy Note 4 cell phone or smartphone, and I'm using my Smooth Q motorized gimbal, so footage should be pretty smooth and steady. The road that passes by this place, it's only a few hundred feet away from the superintendent's house and from the driveway, but if you don't look closely, you'll miss it. Alright, this is the superintendent's office and living quarters. It's the most intact building that's on the premises here, but nearly half of it's already gone. Excuse me. This what we're looking at right here was actually like a bay window that stuck out, and there's one on the other side, so I'll show you what it did look like. We'll walk around the back of it, and I'll take you inside and show you a couple of the rooms, but there's many holes in the floor that go right into the basement, and I'm alone, so I'm not gonna do anything too risky. This is built into a mountainside. It's a very secluded area. Obviously in the last couple decades there's been some homes built, but this was the only thing here at one point. Alright, here's the other side of the house, and this is the bay window I was telling you about. It protrudes from the side of the house, and this part's missing from the other side. The house did extend out this way about another 10 feet, but it's just been destroyed from water and wind. But we'll take a short look inside again, and then we'll be wrapping this up. As you can see, the floor is a mixture of concrete and wood. It's heavily saturated, so just be very careful if you do come here. This was, I believe, a bathroom. There's some plumbing along here. This is one of the main rooms of the house. There's the bay window, which is still intact, thankfully. It's a very beautiful area. The home looks like it was beautiful at one point, but as always, kids come up here and graffiti it up and put holes in walls and everything else. See something right here I'll show you. That's something you gotta watch out for. You can step over and just step right through. So if you do come at night, especially, bring lots of flashlights. I do want to show you this fireplace, which is very beautiful and still intact, but I just gotta be careful because it's not very passable here. I'm gonna get as close as I can, stick my phone through so you can see. That is the fireplace. You see, it was a very large structure, and at one point, it was a very beautiful home to live in or to work out of. So I'm going to back out this way. I'm going to take in one more entrance at the other side. And that's basically all there is to see here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this live stream today. I know it's been kind of difficult technical wise with the connection cutting out, but if you guys do enjoy it, let me know in the comments below, or whenever you do chat with me, and I'll try and do some other locations down the road. There's an old fixture here. Can't go much farther here. This is the back side of the fireplace. And just to let you know, those of you that do follow me for my abandoned videos, I do have some more videos coming up. Probably in a week or so, I'm going to be heading to an abandoned school. It's out kind of in the middle of nowhere. I'm not sure how much of it we're going to be able to see because I did scout it out. The floors were rotted out right into the basement in several areas, so we're going to see how much of that we could film. If anything, I will be able to get drone footage of it. And in October, I do have another location planned with actually another YouTuber, and we're going to be doing that location together. And the abandoned turnpikes are supposed to be filmed at some point this fall with myself and Jeff Grant Media and Journey with Jay. They also do abandoned explorations, so if you haven't done so, check out their channels. Jeff's more of a vlogger, but he does throw in a little bit of everything in his videos, and Journey with Jay is a newcomer who's already established himself as a urban explorer with some great locations. So that may be a future video with the three of us. It's still in the planning stages, so we'll keep you updated on that. And also, just to throw out there, I'm going to make a separate video for this, but coming up October 21st, I believe it's a Saturday, I'm going to be doing my first meet and greet at Knoebels. It's a Hollow Fun event at Knoebels, which means it's all decorated and themed out for Halloween time. I myself will be dressed in costume as well as my wife and my daughter. I'll be making a video of that, telling you where to meet me, what time, what to expect, and it should be a really fun event. So if you're in the area and you're able to attend, I encourage you to come out. But that's pretty much it, guys. This is, like I said, West Mountain Sanitarium. This is just a quick revisit. I do have a full feature video of it on my channel, so just search it if you wish to see it. I do include all the back history on it, as I do with all my videos. So I'm just going to take you with me as I head back to the car. If you have any other questions or comments, feel free to share them now. Otherwise, you can just enjoy the scenery. Thanks, Don. I appreciate you watching. Journey with Jay, I'm not sure if you're still watching, but if you are, for my meet and greet, I encourage you to bring your son. You can bring your wife if you want. It's going to be obviously a kid-friendly event. We're going to be handing out some stickers and doing some photos and obviously making a video of the event. And we're probably going to do some rides together too. So if you're able to come, I encourage you to do so. And Jeff also, if you're watching, you can bring your tiny little human, as you call it, as you call her. She's welcome to come if you want to come out for a couple hours and hang out. There are two entrances to this place, so you just gotta watch where you park at, because there are gates blocking it off. So like I said, there's a house that's fairly close by. Hospital's right back that way. Alright guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm getting back to my car. I appreciate everyone watching today. This was just a kind of a trial run to see how it would work with an abandoned location. I will try and pick some areas with better connection next time so it doesn't cut out. So I do apologize for that. If there's anything you missed, you're welcome to go back and rewatch the video. It will be on my page. And that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Let me just see if there's any more comments real quick. Binge watching my videos. Well, there's lots of them on there. If you just click on playlist, they're all categorized. So hopefully that'll help fill out your Saturday night. Alright guys, I'll see you later.